Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started because I'm conscious of time and I want to make sure that we have enough time for everything. So welcome everyone to this session of the Global Learning Showcase, which is entitled Aggies Impacting the World, a panel of globally engaged students. We're really excited to have you with us today. And today we'll be exploring global learning opportunities at UC Davis from different students' perspective. As I mentioned, this event will be recorded, or actually is being recorded right now, so that we can place it on our website for future viewing. So my name is Kimberly Bellows, and I'm an Intercultural Programs Coordinator with the Global Learning Hub, and I'll be co-moderating this session today.
Hi guys, my name is Nanyi, and I'm the other co-moderator for this program. I'm a third-year political science and economics major, and I'm also part of the Global Ambassador Mentorship Program.
Awesome, thanks, Manny. So first, just some Zoom etiquette. We recommend that for this first part of the session, you turn off your cameras and select speaker view so that you can see the panelists more easily as they're talking. Once we move into the next part, you can turn on your cameras. So, and you can also feel free to use chat at any time to ask questions. Myself and Manny will be monitoring the chat. The structure today is that Manny and I will ask the panelists a series of questions to start the discussion off. Then we'll have a breakout room for each panelist, and you'll actually be able to choose which room you go into for that smaller discussion with the individual panelists. This is a bit of an experiment. Self-assigned breakout rooms, I think, is new in Zoom, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But excited to see where that discussion kind of leads. And then finally, we'll conclude with some final sharing and questions. Does anyone have any questions at this point? No? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop share so that we can see our panelists more easily.
Thank you, Kimberly. Now we would have our panelists introduce themselves. Melody, our first panelist is Melody C. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Melody. Like Manny, I'm a third year as well. I'm a third year international relations major. Most of my global experiences from UC Davis have been very closely connected with the Global Learning Hub. Just this past summer, I was able to do an internship with the organization called T for Tech. And so I was able to work with colleagues from across the globe, particularly serving with NGOs in countries in Africa, particularly Uganda. And so I was able to do that. I just finished completing a micro-credential for Common Purpose, which was another opportunity that I just finished. And basically we also were connected with a global community of other like-minded students to study the Sustainable Development Goals. And as of just this year, I am a new fellow for the Global Education for All initiative. So I just joined that committee and I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm working with a project on a podcast called Aggies Near and Far. And so that tries to connect students from UC Davis who have different cultural experiences and are from different nationalities and backgrounds. And it just is really intended to engage students from UC Davis on different cultural experiences. So that's a bit about my global experiences here at Davis. So that's me.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Melody. And our next panelist is Sophia Madison. Sophia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia. I'm a second year international relations and sociology major. My global experience at UC Davis is I was part of the global education opportunity at the living learning community. So basically I was in the dorms and I lived in a global enrichment program there where we're students from different countries, we all lived together. And it was one of the best experiences I have had here in UC Davis. I am also in the Global Education for All fellowship, and in there I'm working on a project called Traveling Through Zoom, which will it will be in a space where people will be able to connect and through their global experiences. I am also a peer advisor at the Global Learning Hub, and I advise for students which programs would be better for them studying abroad. And I am also part of the Global Ambassador Mentorship Program, and which Manyi is part of as well. And yeah, basically we have mentees that are first year students, and we help them go through their first year of school here at UC Davis.
Thank you so much, Sophia. And our final panelist, Laurenceux, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren. I'm in my 5th year studying civil engineering with a focus on water resources. And then I'm also pursuing a minor in global international studies. Some of my global experiences are, oh wait, I forgot, I have a slide that I can show. Okay, here's a little bit of a map. The main ones that occurred during my time at UC Davis is the sanitation project down here on the bottom. Through a club called Engineers Without Borders, I was able to visit our partnered community in Bolivia and do a community assessment for a latrine project there to improve sanitation. And then in the top right, there's also the urban planning. So through a study abroad program through UC EAP, I was able to do a semester-long internship at a urban planning startup, which was a really cool experience. And then this quarter, I am also a mentor for a Python coding class through a nonprofit called Paper Airplanes, where we're matched with students across the world who are trying to improve their coding or learn coding for the first time to just enrich their employment opportunities. And so I found out about that through an email through Global Affairs. So that one's kind of relevant too.
Thank you so much to all for our panelists for introducing themselves. And we have a few questions that we would like to ask you guys. And the first question that we have for our panelists is how have you found out about or gotten involved with your global learning activities?
Yeah, I can go first. As mentioned, a lot of the opportunities that I've been involved with since my time at Davis have come from the Global Learning Hub on campus. And the Global Learning Hub does send out, I think it's around like probably weekly newsletters. And because I'm also an international relations major, my major advisor also sends out, oftentimes forwards those emails as well, because it makes sense for international relations majors to be focused on careers or opportunities related to global engagement. So I learn a lot about my opportunities just from those emails and listservs, and just, I mean, even if you're not international relations, you can still sign up to get those newsletters. So that's just a bit of like where I've been able to see a lot of those opportunities for internships, for career fairs and job opportunities, for study abroad opportunities. Like it's all within those listservs that I've seen.
Yeah, I agree with Melody too. I also receive a lot of emails, and I'm signed up to the newsletter for the Global Learning Hub. But I also think that a lot of the opportunities I've gotten have been talking to people and just asking. I say no question is a dumb question ever. So just asking around, and actually the global fellowship that I am part of, I just became part of that fellowship because I told Nancy, I told her, oh, I love global education and I really would like to get involved in it. And then she was like, oh, actually this program exists in UC Davis. You should come to one of our meetings. So maybe I think one of the things that I've learned is just asking questions has been a key to find opportunities.
Since my major is civil engineering, it's not like inherently like global, I guess, or like at least the education curriculum or, that topic isn't inherently global. But coming into Davis, I knew that I wanted to study abroad just because I knew that that was a valuable experience. And I've always been interested in kind of different cultures and such. And so I my first quarter at Davis, I joined the club Engineers Without Borders, which is not restricted for engineers at all. Like we do a lot of like water access and sanitation projects. So anyone with like education or international relations, even like psychology, like a wide range is definitely applicable for that club. But through them, I was able to do the trip to Bolivia and just like engage in a lot of I guess globally focused conversations, learning about the cultures of the different communities that we're partnered with, because we're partnered with a community in Bolivia, in Peru, and Kenya. So kind of learning about those. And then also just meeting people who are also interested in international things through that club has been really great. And then I'd echo the emails for sure, since that's how I found my recent like mentorship program. But also, yeah, just talking to people. Definitely that's the advantage of being on campus, because you kind of run into people and then you can like find out new things. But attending events like this and then following up with people is also a great way, because they're, you know, interested in similar things that you might be. So that kind of thing.
Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate you guys all had very different sort of perspectives, but then also echoed each other as well, which I think is great. And I think I want to echo the, you know, trying to make connections with people, because I think that's how you often, I mean, emails are important and everything. And I think we have to be more intentional about connecting with people now, but, you know, we have these events and you can contact us and follow up with us and stuff like that. So that's awesome. Thanks.
Oh, I have one other thing to add, if that's
yeah, please.
I also kind of focused my general education requirements in more globally focused like areas. So I did like a women, gender, and culture class, and there were a lot of really cool people. And there's like, you know, different parts where you research a topic and then share with the class. And so that like totally increased my exposure to, you know, a wider range of experiences. So looking for classes like that and just like being selective with, you know, the extra units that you have is really valuable.
Yeah. And I appreciate your perspective, Lauren, as someone, you know, you said engineering isn't inherently global. I mean, I would argue that we have to, you know, build things all over the world and construct things. And so it is like quite global in some ways, but I do think that sometimes within certain units can be, it's not as, you know, IR majors are maybe always sending you, like they're always going to send you things, right? But you might have to do maybe just a little bit more work to find those opportunities if you're certain majors, but you can find them, which I think is so important. So the next question for our panelists is, why is global learning an important part of your UC Davis education? What value has global learning added to your education?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because, you know, my motivation as an international relations major is because I'm just naturally curious about learning about other cultures and experiencing different things and just exploring the world, essentially. And that is already where my natural interests and passions lie. But I think more specifically, as I've spent more time in college and have been able to hone my interests and perhaps even like career pursuits, I've studied a lot more into sustainable development goals. And that's why I did the micro-credential program with U21. And so as I started studying those sustainable development goals and realizing what I could do through my education and through just working in the field of the impact that it could bring, and just learning from different professors and PhD students on those topics, because it just hits close to home with what I would like to spend my career doing, is pursuing achieving those goals, particularly Sustainable Development Goal number 1, so which is ending poverty. So that's particularly my interest as to why global learning is valuable to me, because of what I've been able to gain from just learning from courses and different opportunities that expose me to that.
Can I jump in just real quick? And Melody, can you just briefly explain UN Sustainable Development Goals? What is that?
Sure. So the UN Sustainable Development Goals, there's currently 17 of them that were drafted by the UN in 2015, I believe. And the goal is by 2030 that those 17 goals will be completed, basically. And so there are a lot of goals, and it's not just for developing countries. It's for every country, particularly within the UN. But some of those goals are ending poverty, ending hunger. There's one with climate action and water and land. So there's a lot of goals, 17 of them. I won't list them all, but those are just a few. Some of them have to do with community development and economic empowerment and equality. So in brief, that's sort of what the Sustainable Development Goals, and the goal is for sustainable development for those communities.
Awesome. Thanks, Melody.
Yeah, I think I'm also very passionate about the Sustainable Development Goals, and I think that has been one of the reasons why I think I should add global education into my UC Davis experience. I mean, I'm also an international relations major, and I think it's part of what drove me to that direction. But I've also learned that we live in a globalized world, even if we want it or not. Like there's not an option nowadays to just be isolated in your own country. Everything is connected. So I think that is a motivation for me to make my global learning experience part of my education, because I know once I graduate, I will be working with people from other countries, other cultures, even if I want it or not, because internet right now, right? Zoom, this is so easy. Like right now I can have a video conference with someone in China. If I have a job, maybe they'll ask me to just know another thing from another country, and having that cultural awareness just makes you a different person within a big group. Like knowing what that awareness is in a working environment makes you different from other perspective people that might apply for the job or that might want that opportunity that you want. So I think that's one of the reasons why I always have my global education as something that I want to get out of this 4-year experience at UC Davis.
Yeah, I would agree that having a global learning experience really makes you more aware of what's out there beyond what you directly experience or know. And there's definitely like one thing to, research or read news articles. And it's another thing to like meet someone who's from there or work and partner with them or tutor them online, or, there's a lot of really cool interactive components. And I think like UC Davis has a wealth of just diverse experiences and diverse people. And so to really take advantage of the time that you have here, like by attending events and getting involved in clubs or taking really interesting classes where maybe the professor's from another country or the student, I guess sitting next to you or like just in the Zoom room as you could be, someone with a very different experience. So I think it can be challenging for sure, because there's, of course, barriers to kind of overcome and communication styles to, smoothen out. But in the end, you become a much more well-rounded person, a much more aware, and I think we all have a lot to learn and grow.
Lauren, as the non-IR major in the group, what value do you think this has added, like your different experiences added specifically to your engineering education? Like, has that made it, like, how has that impacted your engineering education?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say I was able to like learn by doing a lot, like especially through Engineers Without Borders, getting to actually see all the like other components that go into an engineering project. And of course, like with Engineers Without Borders, it's a small scale project. It's like a one community, we're building one thing. It's not like this huge contract, but getting to see things on a micro scale, like even kind kind of like game theory things, like that plays a huge role in, you know, a potential career that I would go into. So just as my community was like, you know, dealing with who's gonna fix their water distribution system. It's a very simple system, but it's still like community dynamics, who's gonna fix it. It's the same thing with, you know, farmers in California and pumping groundwater. Sorry if I'm getting too into the water world, but there's just a lot of experiences that I think have a lot in common, and for me to be able to like experience something really puts it into my head a lot more like strongly than just reading about something. So I'd say in that way for sure. Like Sophia was saying, like as we move into careers, I'm sure that we'll be working with people who are from other areas of the world, and so just having a sensitivity, having an awareness, and just kind of like, that ear towards, you know, any challenges that they may face, or, you know, something like that. I think that's a very valuable skill, as well as like the communication skills that you would develop through talking to people or working with them.
Thanks, guys. And then, well, I'm part of GAM, so I also want to add that I think it's good to just have like awareness that diversity does exist. I guess that's the value I learned from GAM, because I have two mentees that are international students. So it's good to know that they have a different cultural background. So when I talk to them about specific topics, I would keep that in mind, just to kind of keep an understanding that they have different interpretations of certain topics. Thanks guys for sharing. And our final question is, how have your experiences so far prepared you for life post-graduation?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, so I mean, the reason why I take the courses that I do is because it's my interest for my career, right? And so I'm an international relations major, following the track of development, particularly in developing countries, hence the interest in the Sustainable Development Goals. But what I ultimately would like to do is work among those more rural communities, with the purpose of providing or aiding in the development of sustainability. What that looks like, I don't know. All I know is that I have a passion to see individuals getting the resources that they need, that should be accessible. And honestly, like it's still something that I'm exploring, of what that looks like concretely. And that is why I'm engaging in all these different opportunities to learn and to explore and to see what path I could take post-graduation. And honestly, I think after I graduate, I'll still be on that process. I'll probably be working with an NGO. I have a family friend who, because I'm Christian, he's trying to connect me to potentially joining a missions organization that deals primarily with working among those communities for sustainability. So it's, I mean, do I know what I'm doing post-graduation? Not really, but I know that this is something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that I would like to, what's the word? That I would like to dedicate my life towards, in achieving or in helping to achieve those goals by working hands-on among the locals of those communities, mainly in the goal of trying to alleviate poverty. What that looks like, again, like that's why I'm taking those courses. So in short, these opportunities are just really great ways for me to learn from other people, to learn from the network of students and professionals. And so I've definitely learned a lot, and I think that's helped me, even explore the opportunity of maybe doing research, which is not something that I thought I'd be doing when I first came to university. But yeah, I think that's how I've come to see how these opportunities sort of shape and guide me towards what I could be doing post-graduation.
Yeah, I think something that this question was very, when I heard it first time, I was like, how is this actually helping me? Like I had to double think it because I think that sometimes you just take classes and you're just like in your major, you know, you get involved in your daily basis and making this reflection questions. It's like, okay, what do I want to do after graduation? As Melody was saying, maybe I really don't know. But I know I've learned two things being involved in all these programs at UC Davis, and especially from the living learning community, living at the dorms with people from all over the world and being with them 24/7. I realize a lot of things from other cultures. And I think that I always say that you can travel to through people, and that's because their stories and their experiences, all the things that they have with them, then they can share with you. Then you learn so many things that it's like traveling to their country for a little bit. At least that's how I see it. So I think what I've learned for post graduation is that people are just people. Like no matter where you go, no matter where you are, we all have the same needs. We all share experiences, and we are just here trying to figure out what life looks like. So I think that's one thing that I've learned for post-graduation, that my global experience has given me, and also that being aware that other cultures exist just gives you another perspective of the world. And that awareness, depending on the context that you are, just gives you a different way of communicating what your objective is in that moment. And what I mean by this is if I know that there's people from different cultures in a room, I know that I have to be aware of the way I talk. And maybe if there's international students, I've learned that maybe some of them can't speak really fast English. So maybe I can speak a little bit slower, or maybe I can use words that are not slang, you know, so all these experiences, I think prepare me to my post-graduation experience, because the world is like that. You have to be aware of everything all the time. And just by having these experiences, it becomes a normality to me. So I think, yeah.
I'm the closest to graduation since I'm in my 5th year. I should be graduating this March if everything goes as planned. And I would say when I look back, I'm really grateful for everything that I've been able to pick up through classes and through these experiences. I'd say some like particularly valuable components would be the time that I did spend in country. So in Bolivia, like that was doing a lot of field work, so I kind of got to test that out for 10 days. And then when I was in India for 3.5 months doing an internship, it was really great to have like it be a study abroad program. So there are definitely some things that were taken care of, like health insurance, and kind of guided me through. But it was also a really good experience to try out a new work environment, a new like work culture, to see if I can live thousands of miles away from my family, if I can eat that local food every single day, 3 meals a day, and also to like not have a big network of expats or just people from the States. So I would say like those were very good trial experiences for me to learn what I enjoyed, what I didn't, what was extra challenging and I want to give another shot, or what things were a little too much and I can't really like handle not having. So I'd say like those are huge challenging experiences, and they definitely shaped the direction that I'm going in for my career. I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm going to do, but I do know like from my India experience, I do like working on a smaller team, on a project that's more environmentally focused, but is kind of partnered with local governments and has a lot of community involvement. So things like that, it was good to kind of nail down knowing that that's something I'm going to look for in a future career. And also just, I think, starting to develop skills that will be helpful in a future career as well, such as, even applying for grants to fund some of that travel, or for this project if I wasn't traveling, or communication, of course, learning a little bit of a new language, or just at least being submerged in it and like being able to sit silently and like nod, small things like that, I think are just like skills that I'll definitely bring with me as I move into a career.
Something that struck me that, especially like, I don't know, that a couple of you touched on was the idea of trying out things, like trying things out to see if this is going to be a good fit for you for future. And I think that that's college is a great time to do that. And particularly by seizing the different types of experiences that you guys have, that really helps you try things out. But then it's also about developing those soft skills that I think all of you mentioned and Sophie really talked about too, you know, those skills of like interacting with people from different backgrounds, like being able to sit quietly and like just, you know, experience a language that you're not sure of. And those are really important skills that I think you all sort of highlighted that that you get out of these types of experiences. So it's really interesting. Thanks for sharing.
I would also add, I think just it helped me grow in my confidence of like walking into something that may be completely foreign, and I'm like in no way an expert of any, you know, component of it, but being able to learn how to ask the right questions or like, you know, kind of fit in and then kind of like slowly, you know, make progress towards becoming more knowledgeable in the circumstance. So it definitely like was able to humble me and kind of like teach me how to be a learner in a global context, and just not assume that I'm the expert of anything that I'm walking into. But yeah, just getting to adapt to the circumstances is really valuable.
Adaptability, totally. Well, and that confidence piece too, you know, when I started my study abroad experience at UC Davis, there was a girl who said, oh, I traveled to all these places in South America by myself. And I said, I would never travel by myself. By the end of my time, I had traveled to 2 places by myself. And I have since, as like an adult, traveled to all these places by myself. And so it's that confidence that trying something new can give you, but it's also humbling too, because you learn, you know, oh, maybe you don't know Spanish as well as you think you do, or you don't know everything. So I appreciate that you mentioned that. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you everyone for sharing. And yes, they shared some amazing, like very interesting experiences they had. And so you'll have a chance to engage directly with the panelists to ask your own questions. And in just a moment, we will open up 3 breakout rooms, 1 for each of the panelists labeled with your name, and you will be able to join whichever breakout room you choose. And so there is a new function in Zoom where you can choose the breakout room you want to go to, and you can do so by clicking the breakout room option in your meeting controls. It should be placed at the bottom of the window, and you may not, like in case that you don't have that option, feel free to type in the chat whose meeting room you want to join, and we would place you in there. And please wait a moment, and we will put you in. Not yet. Oh yeah. Please give a moment. We're trying to open up the breakout rooms right now.
Yeah, so they should be open now. Panelists, I'm going to assign you to your rooms. Oh, Sophie already went. Good, good. Give me a sec.
In the meantime, does anyone have any questions?
Lauren, where did you go in my list?
Looks like Lauren went in her room.
Okay. Yes, she's in there. Okay. So yeah, so just type in chat if you don't, like Minnie said, if you need us to assign you. I think it's working.
Great job, you guys. I don't seem to have that function.
You might not have an updated version of Zoom. Do you want me to assign you to a specific room?
You know, I'm not going to be able to stay all the way until the end, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can go for just a little bit if you want, or you could not. It's whatever you want to do.
Sure. Is there anybody who doesn't seem to have many people? Can you tell?
Yeah, I think Sophie and Lauren don't have a ton of people. Do you want to go to one of theirs?
Sure. Why don't you send me to Sophie or
Okay.
whoever has left?
Yeah, I'll send you to Sophie. Penny, do you want to go to Lauren's room? Oh, I don't have a room. Like, which room would you like to be in, Liko?
I don't any room. Wait, what is there a difference in the rooms or?
So Sophie's in one, Lauren's in one, and Melody is in one. Lauren's by herself right now, or you can pick one of the other two.
I'll join Lauren.
Okay, I'll put you in Lauren's room. Valeria, do you want me to put you in a room? Just let me know. I can. Okay, which room would you like to be in? Sophie, Lauren, or Melody? I don't care. Okay, I'll put you in. I'll put you in Sophie's room. Hi, Jen. We're in breakout rooms right now. Do you want to be assigned for a breakout room with one of our panelists? And you can feel free to join a breakout room if you would like.
Yeah, I also don't have that function.
Okay, do you want to go see Sophie, Lauren, or Melody?
I'll also join the person with fewer 10.
Okay, I'll put you in Lauren's room then. Jen, if you want me to put you in a breakout room, just let me know. Hey, are you back? Oh, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
Could I go to Sophia or Melody's by any chance?
Sure, yeah, I can put you in Sophie's.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on one sec. I didn't do the right thing. Okay.
Sorry for.
No, you're good. Don't worry. Oh, sorry, I signed you. Hey. No, you're good.
Baby back there somewhere you can see.
Oh.
So I had to go grab my headphones.
No worries. Do you want me to put you in one of the breakout rooms with one of the panelists?
Yes, I was just looking to hear, what was going on. So you can assign me whichever place you'd recommend.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put you in Lauren's room.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back. No, I'm not muted. Okay.
Maybe they're still in discussion.
Yeah, they're going to close in about 14 seconds. So I think we just have Melody and Rob coming back. And they'll be back in just a couple seconds, few seconds. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that we're all back. Welcome back to the main room. I hope that you all had some good discussions. Panelists, were there any good questions or topics that you covered that you think would be useful for everyone to hear?
So in our breakout session, I was with Rob and a student named Linda. And I think it was just great to reemphasize using Aggie Life as a really great way for students to find different campus organizations that they can get connected with. The student that we had, Linda, so similar to Lauren, like she's not studying international relations and doesn't have an academic background or connection to that, but she did want to know how she could get involved with different global education opportunities. So we definitely tried to think off the top of our head of the ones that we knew that she might be able to be connected with, as well as just connecting her with Aggie Life, just in case she wanted to explore that further.
Thanks, Melody. Anyone else? Sophie, Lauren?
Yeah, in our breakout room, I was with Valeria and Lico, and they were asking me about the Global Ambassador Mentorship Program, and I just shared some research. Like, they cannot join by now, but I was telling them like next year when applications open, they should definitely apply. And I was telling them that sometimes the Global Ambassadors programs we have events that are not only for our community, but they're like for everyone at UC Davis. So I was telling them that if I know about those events, I can definitely share them through email. And I think going on of that, like, we are a resource for you if you have any questions or anything that even you want to connect with us. I think Kimberly will share our emails at the end. So I think that was a great conversation, just talking about my experience with GAMP.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Does anybody have any final questions for the whole group? Any final comments or thoughts that anyone wants to share or ask?
This is interesting. Basically all I wanted to say was I finally know what GAMP is, because I heard Manu was like talking about in GAMP, and I thought she said like GAM, and I was really confused, but then I guess it stands for Global Ambassadors Program. So I don't know, that was just something that popped into my mind when Sophie was finally talking. I was like, oh, okay, that's what it stands for.
Yes. Thanks, Melody, for highlighting that. Sometimes we go into our abbreviations at UC Davis. I feel like I'm a little bit newer to the office, and I'm constantly like, what is that abbreviation for? I'm so confused. Any other anything?
I have a question for our, I forgot who went to study abroad.
Lauren,
can you like just kind of talk about it? Because I've been like debating. Yeah, can I ask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because I've been like debating about studying abroad, because I have I don't want to graduate early. I'm trying to expand, like I'm trying to enjoy my 4 years. That's why I'm thinking of should I spend a quarter abroad? Like, why not? I have the time. So like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I don't regret it at all. Like, I encourage everyone, if they can, to totally do it. There's also a lot of good like scholarships and grants out there as well, if financially it's a little bit more challenging. But I loved it because I got to really choose my program. So mine was 4 days a week. We had an internship, and then on Fridays we had a class, and it was with for like 13 other students that were from the other UCs. But because we were doing like an internship, I felt like I really got to know people who were local, and really develop friendships. Like I was a little worried that, you know, if I went somewhere and was just around students who were all, you know, from the US, that I would stay in that bubble and wouldn't be quite like as engaged or challenged. And so that's why I was looking for one that was an internship. There were a few options for engineering like classes to take abroad in case like I didn't have room in my schedule for additional classes. But I thought an internship was really valuable because for me, I am interested in working abroad. And so I wanted to like get that experience of trying out working and not just being a student. So I'd say that was really good. You make friendships that honestly, I think are gonna last a lifetime, which is really fun. And you grow in your confidence for sure of like how to travel. You meet other people who are really interested in travel as well. And there's just a lot of options to choose from. So I'm sure there's a program that you could find really interesting and really enjoy.
And if I can add up on that, I'm a peer advisor at the Global Learning Hub. So if any of you just we have drop-in hours now in Zoom. So if any of you are just wondering, like, I want to study abroad, but I have no idea where to start, I think going to the drop-in hours is a great start, because there we can share all the resources of specific programs that could be interesting for you. So yeah. Oh, there you go. Drop-in Zoom advising. Yeah.
This is perfect. Perfect segue to this slide, Sophie. Thank you. Awesome. I actually studied abroad when I went to UC Davis many, many years ago through UCAP. I did a semester with other UC students enrolling directly at a Chilean university in Santiago. And it was a really difficult experience just because I was very type A. I still am type A, and Chilean society is not super type A when it comes to classes and like when your tests are and stuff. But that taught me a lot about myself, and it taught me a lot about how to let go a little bit. And it taught me a lot of Spanish too. And I wouldn't, even though it was challenging for me, I would not trade that experience for the world. It was amazing. So
I'd also add that it's very different from like visiting a country, because although like if you stay in hostels, you'll still meet people who are also traveling or interested in that. I think like the things that I enjoyed the most was like my hour-and-a-half commute to my internship, where I, walked or took a taxi and then took like the train and then the metro and then walked some more, and like just getting to experience daily life there and having 3.5 months to actually get to know my surroundings and like, have a favorite coffee shop and like things like that. I think those things are like, just the most precious things. So,
yeah, I echo that. I've realized I like to travel, but I really love to live other places. I've also lived in Northern Ireland, and it's just so special when you get to really know a place and like you have your favorite coffee shop and you have your favorite restaurant and the woman that works at the metro station knows you and stuff. It's lovely. Go ahead, Sophie.
If I can just add one more thing, I think flexibility is another thing that you really learn if you study abroad. Because you learn that even if you have a plan, that plan can always be moved and you just have to go with the flow and try to fix whatever challenges that presents you. So you learn to be very flexible.
Yes, definitely. I can't echo that enough.
To add on to the Friends for Life, Lauren, I've been thinking about the reason I joined GAMP. I don't think I told Kimberly, but then the reason I joined GAMP was because my freshman year I was in a class and I met two friends. They were mentees from GAMP, and they're both international students, and I got to visit. So one of them's from China and the other one's from Japan. And when I visited both countries that summer, I kind of just messaged them like, oh, hey, I'm in Tokyo. Are you like nearby? And we actually like met up for dinner, and that was really nice.
Awesome. So that's a connection you made on campus. You know, we lived with an exchange student my junior year at Davis. And the summer after that, my best friend, who's my roommate, she went to China and stayed with her in China, which is just awesome. So it's like the connections you make on campus. So this is why, like, you don't necessarily, study abroad doesn't work for everyone, right? But you have all these opportunities. You have global ambassadors, you have virtual internships, you have, you know, Geo LLC, you have working at the Global Learning Hub, you have all these opportunities where you can make connections that then could go broader out into the world, right? I love it. Okay, well, we only have a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure that we wrap up on time. Let me share my screen. Manny, do you want to start closing us off?
Are you guys able to see the screen? Yeah, okay. Thanks everyone for coming, and we really hope that you guys found this session to be informative and you can attend other sessions. Yes, because I promise you they will be as interesting as this one. Yeah, I just hope everyone enjoyed this. I find it pretty interesting. And then here, are you guys able to see the contact information? Yeah, here are the contact informations in case you guys want to like message any of us for follow-up questions.
And I forgot to put Manny's information in there, I think, because I forgot to ask, but she can pop it into chat.
I'll type my email in. And sorry, am I getting cut off? Are you guys able to go ahead?
We can hear you.
Okay, and just remember that the Global Learning Hub serves all different types of global learning opportunities. And yes, visit the drop-in hours if you have questions about studying abroad like me.
Awesome.